तुलसी विभूषितकरा नवनीरदाभा पीताम्बराधरुणबिम्बफलाधरोष्ठात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखा अरविन्दनेत्रा कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री Gurave Namaha. Divine souls, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Gurudev. Last week we went through this first verse of chapter 5. This was a question raised by Arjuna, who says, Sannyasam karmanam Krishna Punarayogam cha samshasi Shreyayetayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. O Bhagavan Krishna, you praised karma sannyasa, that is the path of renunciation of action, and you also commend Karma Yoga. Now, if you praise both of them, I am confused. I do not understand which one to actually follow. So please tell me decisively, which is Shreya for me? कौन मेरे लिए कल्याणकारी है? Which is better of the two? This is the question, and we discussed about this last week. Now, Bhagavan replies to his question straightway, as he did in chapter 3, and he has done throughout the Bhagavad Gita. The question is asked by Arjuna, and forthright comes the reply without any hesitation. And direct. It is not indirect reply most of the time. It is direct. He says, Sannyasah karma yogascha nisreya sakara vubhau tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo visheshyate. Sannyasah, that is renunciation of what? Karma yogascha, that is yoga of action. So renunciation of action, renunciation and as well as yoga of action, nisreya karavubhu, both of them lead to supreme goal. The path to attainment of supreme bliss, both they will take you to that goal. You can reach the goal of supreme bliss through sannyasa as well as through karma yoga. So both of them will take you there. But ubhav tayo, of the two, however, karma sannyasat karma yoga vishishyate. Yoga of action is superior to renunciation. Straightforward reply is given by Bhagavan. You want to know which of the two is Shreya? Let me tell you, yoga of action is superior to renunciation. Now let us understand what Lord meant by this. And he further explains in the whole chapter 5, this topic has been taken through entire chapter and it goes in great detail. But let us understand the fundamental things which sometimes there is a likelihood of some confusion. If I pose a question, in the morning you get up, leave the bed, go to your restroom, you come take your tea, subsequently you take bath, you have your breakfast, you go to the car, drive and go to the place of work as a routine if you take that. Now, are these karma or not karma? In third chapter, Bhagavan says, Nahi kaschit chanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krit. That's fine. But just consider these acts. There are so many actions. You got up from the bed, you leave the bed, you go to the restroom, you come out from there, go to the table for tea, you take tea. All these activities which are going on, are they defined as karma or not? If I ask the question, the reply will come, they are, but in fact they are not. Activity without involvement of mind. How often when you move about and your mind is always thinking of the meeting you are going to conduct in your office, and you are going to the restroom, coming out from there, take your tea, all these activities are going on, but your mind is at the meeting, whether papers are already arranged or not, slide projector is ready or not, this and this, all those thoughts are going on your mind, and you are having your meal, you're putting your shoes, you're going to the car. All these activities of the body are taking place. They're not still. But are they actually karma? Leave aside karma yoga. We'll come to that. But these are things to be understood. Many things we perform, they are not karma. And mind you, in this, when you follow, Maharaj has told me to recite 12th chapter, you go through the verses almost rapidly as if to fulfill what Maharaj has told. That you recite this 12th chapter 5 times a day. You get up in the morning, you do that. Night time, when you go to bed, you do that. And 3 meals you take, before meal you take. Now, Maharaj has told this. So, your car is waiting outside and you are taking your tea or breakfast, but forgot, 12th chapter I didn't recite. So, you go through the whole thing. Is your mind following those verses? How often, when we recite chapter 12, we go through all those 39 qualities of bhakta? If your mind is not associated with all the meaning which is contained in the 12th chapter, or any chapter for that matter, then you are not performing karma. If you are not performing karma, you will not get the benefit, or for that matter, if you do wrong thing, demerit. So you merit which you get from reciting Bhagavad Gita, reciting any chapter, reciting any verse of Bhagavad Gita. If you have not given your mind to that, then you are not performing karma. So all the other things, activities goes on, they are activity. Karyam karma karoti yaha. Karyam karma karoti. See, there are 3 words there. These are all karyam. All these are activities going on, but you are not, your mind is not associated with. Yasya naham tuto bhavo buddhir yasya na lipyate hatvapi saimam lokan nahanti nanibadhyate. This is verse 17 of chapter 18. I often try to quote this. Yasya naham krito bhavo, मैं कर रहा हूं. अगर ये भाव नहीं है तो आपने किसी को जान भी मार दिया है, हत्वापि सनिमाम लोकान न हंति, आपने मारा नहीं, एंड निबध्यते, यू आर नॉट बाउंड टू दैट. Why? Because your mind is not associated with that. Even legal matters, in the legal matter, in the court of law, when you go, if you can declare that I killed somebody when I was not mentally involved in that, then there is a provision that they will not punish you. So the importance of karma, one has to realize. When I perform any activity, whether I put my mind into it or not. प्रार्थना भगवान की करते हैं, तो क्या हम अपने mentally I am, or even you may not be physically present in the temple, but you can put your mind onto the feet of Lord anytime, anywhere, even without going to the temple. Everywhere, Bhagavan, as we have just heard from Narendra Kapoorji, talking about everywhere Bhagavan is there. You mam pasate sarvatra sarvam cho. So you don't have to be in temple to put your mind. If your mind is at the feet of you're putting your hand at the feet of the Lord, you are actually doing it. That is the definition of the karma. Mind has to be involved, mind has to be associated. Then karma yoga is still different, is different. You may be performing your action with the mind, but you are planning to kill somebody. Now, you may put all your mind, thoughts, ideas, concept, everything to perform an action. But is that action taking you to the spiritual path, to the spiritual path, or you are planning to kill somebody? Depending upon the karma yoga, or only those actions which will be taking you towards the path of spirituality, which will be leading you to give you all kinds of positive sattvic effects will be coming on to you. Only those actions are karma yoga. Now, if you are performing the action towards which will lead you towards the spiritual high goal, that is all included in Yagyartha karma or Niskam karma, and those will be explained subsequently also. That is karma yoga, that you are performing action in order to attain highest goal, supreme bliss. Yagyartha karma, Niskam karma. What about karma sannyasa? Karma sannyasa is renunciation of action. Again, it has several meanings. Let me explain what is meant ordinarily, what ordinary people think of sannyas. One is you have got brahmacharya, then you have got grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. This is varnashram. That is your 4 varna. You give up you take birth, you go through this schooling, then you have the part you play as a householder, and then you finish the responsibility of your children are well settled, then you have nothing much to do, and you have already got something to take care of you in the future. And then you say, I give up. That giving up can be taken as sannyasa. But that is a householder affair. Ordinarily, when bounden duties are gone, we leave home, and you think that your things are all done. You are not much to be carried out in the life for the sake of the family or for the worldly life. Then you take off to do devotional work, bhajan, kirtan, puja, arti, all those study of scripture. You do that, you may take it as a kind of sannyasa or renunciation, that you have given up your things. But if somebody gives up because he doesn't want, earlier also, even if he is not fulfilling his responsibility, he decides to give up. Oh, हो गया, अब मैं नहीं काम करना है मुझे संसार के लिए, मैं विरक्त हो जाता हूँ. कमंडली उठाया और चले गए जंगल में, या किसी फ्रेंड सर्कल में लोग साधु संत बन जाते हैं तो साथ में चले गए. That is very dangerous because you have given up the worldly life and you consider yourself to be sannyasi, but your mind may not be attached, may not be directed towards carrying out those responsibilities which will lead you to moksha or liberation. Idea of sannyasa is to look for higher goal, look for spiritual path higher up, so that you reach that level of moksha or liberation or jivan mukta, whatever you may call it. That is the path one takes when it's sannyasa. But if he is not prepared to do that and yet he decides to go and lead that path, that is very dangerous. He is neither this way nor that way. Then there is, of course, the Gita, which tells us what is the sannyasa all about. And the definition of sannyasa is beautifully given in chapter 6, verse 1, where Bhagavan says, Anasritah karma phalam karjam karma karoti yah sa sannyasi. वह सन्यासी है. He is a sannyasi who performs his bounden duty without depending upon the fruit of action. Bhagavan says, is sannyasi, you can call him also yogi. Not that person who has given up the use of fire, that is niragnir, that means they don't cook their food for themselves, or they do not perform any action. No, he does perform action which is a bounding duty for him to perform. Anyway, from this verse, the definition of sannyasa is taken as anasritah karma phalam. That means he performs action and he doesn't bother about the result of it. That is what is called niskama karma. So there is a niskama karma, or that karma which will take us, or yagyartha karma you can call it. The yagyartha karma, niskam karma, these are the karma which is performing without leaving house. There is no, in Bhagavad Gita, it is nowhere Bhagavan says that there is need for you to leave the house. There is no need to leave the house. You can stay in the house, yet you can be a sannyasi. And that definition is given in chapter 6, verse 1. Then there is in practice. What is happening in practice, people, what they do? In Christianity, in Buddhism and Jainism, there is a monastery kind of system. They even early childhood, people, they follow the path of monastery. In Jainism, people give their children to go and follow the path of sannyasi at early age. So that is kind of tradition which they follow. That is more practiced in Jainism and Buddhism. Sikhism and Islam, they do not encourage this path of renunciation. While in Christianity, there is again partial thing. But among Hindus, there are two systems. One is called Vidvat Sannyasa and other is called Vividasa Sannyasa. That means there are individuals who are born at a level, they have already prarabdha karma sab chhut gaye hain uske, kuch hi rah gaye hain. So they have to take body form to, in few months or years, that is also gone. So they are already jivan mukta. And biggest example is Adi Sankara. Adi Sankara, at the age of 5 or 6, he was already liberated. And we have talked about Adi Sankara previously. I have gone through in great detail, told you the history about him and how he says, Siboham, Siboham. that I've given you that prayer from him, that I am already Shiva. That is he's talking about at the age of 7 or so. So there are then, so he realized that I am real, and then he takes his begs his mother to allow him to go and for sannyasa, and he goes for sannyasa. That is called like Ramana Maharshi. He realized at an early age that he saw that the body outside, and he is seeing himself as Jiva, Ajatma outside the body. So that kind of realized soul, if they decide to go to liberation, to sannyasa, that is called Vidvat sannyasa. Then there are many of them, who, not that many, but they at the early age, they think that if they are involved in household affair, they go to the education and they do not marry, they realize that I should follow the path so that I get release, I get mukti, I get jivan mukti later on. So they decide on to go to karma to sannyasa after realizing or having realized within himself that he does not want to devote much time to household affairs, but devote most of the time to the path which will lead them to, and there you all know there are so many of sages and saints and whole organization, they have early given up their thing from engineering college, from MIT, and there's so many people have given up those education and all those, and they have followed the path of sannyasa, and they get liberated. So I think I have crossed my time. I didn't look at the watch. I'm sorry, I had to cut short here. We will go through it again. This is a big thing I thought I was sharing with you, because there are certain factors which must have very clear understanding within ourselves. Thank you very much. I stop here. Jai Sri Krishna. Jai Gurudev.